It's week 3 of the Scottish Hydroelectric Premiership National and Eastern Leagues. 6 border derbies for you this weekend, including one down here at Netherdale. Welcome to Border's Rugby Roundup, and before our featured game between Gala and Jedforest, let's have a look at Premier 1, a big game there happening at Philip Hoch. It was Selkirk against Melrose. Reporting, Grahame MacGregor.
Well, Selkirk were back on home territory at Philip Hoch after their dream start to the season, which saw them win their opening 2 matches on their return to Division 1. Melrose are up and running too after beating West of Scotland last week. All was set for a great border derby, but it didn't turn out to be too much of a classic. Selkirk, however, did dominate the opening proceedings, leading 12-3 at half-time thanks to penalties from David Cassidy for Selkirk and one from Scott White for Melrose. White added a second after the break, but tries from Scott Tomlinson and Sean Crombie, with Cassidy adding a 6th penalty goal, made it 28-6 for Selkirk. The dream goes on.
The desire and the hunger for the boys is just superb. He's probably seen that today. The work rate, down here on a Monday night, train hard, Tuesday, Thursday if need be, and Kevin's just got us working really, really hard and really well. It's great, and you can see the crowds are flocking down now. A great attendance here today again. It's great stuff. It's good.
Embarrassing was the word. I've never seen the boys play like that before. It's not how we train to play. It's not how they trained this week. But they went out there today and they were dreadful. And we've got to sort it. We've got to sort it for next week.
Over at Burnbrae, Hawick were looking for their first win of the season in Premier 1 against West of Scotland. Here's Richie Gray with the details.
Hawick went down 22-12 but won the try-count 2-1 with scores from Grahame Hogg and Neil Rennick, who also landed a conversion.
Obviously disappointed with some good individual performances, but we just need to knuckle down and work at it, and I'm sure the first win will come sooner or later.
So Selkirk still unbeaten in second place on points difference behind Ayr. Melrose are 9th with Hawick in 10th place. Next week another local derby as Hawick welcomes Selkirk to Mansfield Park, with Melrose playing host to Boroughmuir, who put over 70 points past Glasgow Hawks at the weekend.
And so to Premier 2, Gala against Jedforest, and reporting from Netherdale, here's Laing Speirs.
This could have been called a typical Border League game. It was certainly hard enough, it was intense enough, and it also lacked quite a lot in the way of basic skills. Jed just deserved their win this afternoon, but they could have made it a lot easier for themselves if they'd taken the chances kicking at goal. There was a good finish, a strong finish, when Gala attempted to overhaul the Jed lead and managed to get a bonus point, but it was a hard struggle towards the end for Gala, and on balance Jed just deserved the league points that were on offer this afternoon at Netherdale.
Us as a group have set our standards quite high, and when you drop down, you're not happy with it, but at the end of the day you walk on. There's nothing we can do about it now, but let's say we're happy we won, so we'll take that away and work on that for the next game.
In this division it's a real dogfight every week, and if you don't get the basics absolutely spot on, especially ball retention, which I thought we were really poor at today, we got turned over on a number of occasions. And Cliff's talked about aimless kicking from both teams and whatever, but the bottom line for me is if you can set a good platform, then you can start playing a bit of rugby, and there was really turnovers all over the place. I think I counted about 10-15 turnovers, which is not good enough.
Obviously disappointed. Another close game following on for last week, 18-17 today. Just a few basic mistakes really throughout the team, maybe under a wee bit more pressure than we were last year. Like I say, important to get the 1 point. Scored a late try to get that, but like I say, just the mistakes preventing us from winning the game today.
Well, it wasn't the only local derby in Premier 2. Down at Poynter Park, Kelso took on Peebles. It was a match that doubled as a Border League fixture. Stuart McFarlane has the details.
21-all, I think, was a fair result in the end. Peebles just edging the first half, 15-13 up, scoring a try through Duncan MacDonald right on half-time to give them that 2-point advantage going into the interval. Started very brightly, the game, the tempo right from the word go, and it was a good, clean contest. contest. Yes, there was a yellow card for a Kelso player and a Peebles player, but the referee handled the game very well. It was played in a typical Border derby spirit, and of course it meant a lot to the players. It wasn't just a Premier 2 encounter, it was a Border League encounter. 4 tries, 2 apiece. Chances at the very end with Utterson and Botwood missing last minute penalties. So I think a fair result, 21-all, second draw for Kelso. People starting with a win, a defeat and a draw in their opening 3 matches.
Well, here's the way it looks in Premier 2 after 3 matches. Next week, Gala go to Haddington. Jed are at home to Stuart's Melville, who'll want to make it 3 out of 3 Border scalps for them. Peebles are at home to Musselburgh, and Kelso travel to GHA. After the break, a look at the National and Eastern Leagues with Richie Gray.
Scotland. It's part of us. There's granite in our bones and steel in our hearts. We play with the raw power of nature, fluid like water, fast as the wind. This land shaped us. The elements made us. We are the nation's team. We are Scotland. Stand with us in the Bank of Scotland Corporate Autumn Tests.
This is Borders Rugby Roundup, and on to National League 1. Langham narrowly lost away at Annan by 9 points to 8, Colin Jardine scoring Langham's try, while Berwick went down at Howe of Fife 22 points to 17. Next Saturday, Berwick are at home to DL, and Langham play East Kilbride at Milntown. In Division 2, Hawick YM remain unbeaten with a 14-7 win at home to Stewartry. They're in 3rd place, and next Saturday they travel to Kilmarnock to try and make it 4 in a row. In the Eastern League, Hawick Lundeen won the local derby 21-14 against Hawick Quins in Division 1, while Duns went down 15-11 to Pennycook. In Division 2, 2 more Border clashes, with St Boswell's getting the better of Errolson to record their 3rd win of the season, and Gala YM beat Walkerburn 36-3. Next week's East League fixtures are on your screen now.
Just before we go today, a little chat with Steve Bates, used to be coach at Border Reivers down here at Netherdale. He's now Director of Rugby at Newcastle Falcons. We went up to Kingston Park to have a chat with him about the Borders influence, because he's joined now on the coaching staff by Alan Tate and Stuart Grimes. Quick word about the Borders influence. Obviously, you're familiar with Alan Tate and Stuart Grimes from the Border Reivers days. How are they gelling under the Newcastle banner now?
Yeah, really good. I mean, I think this is an important time for us to say, you know, what the work we've done in pre-season, particularly by Stuart and by Alan, we need these sort of games to evaluate it and before we can move on. So there's lots out of today that I think we'll take and say, look, that's an area where we need a little bit more work, and that was good. So, you know, these with a new coaching team, it's always going to take a little bit of time to bed in, but so far I think we're all pulling in the same direction, and I think we've seen today a performance that gives us a lot to be positive about.
As you know, there's a lot of talent in the Borders and the Borders clubs there. Have you got your eye sort of in that area to maybe bring some people down to Newcastle?
Well, we've really got a spy in the camp now, haven't we, with Alan, and he's sort of still living in Kelso for a bit of the week. So, you know, I'm sure that will be a rich source of players for us in the future. You know, we've got a good group of players at the moment, but you know, we're always looking to see what local talent we can promote and have a look at.
And you can see more of that interview at our Other Clubs Rugby page on our website. But that's it for this week. Join us again next Monday for Borders Rugby Roundup.